Friends, if you want to watch the blockbuster animated adventure The Bad Guys in English, then you are in for a real treat, because this film isn't just a regular animated flick, it's a roller coaster of comedy, action, and clever twists. If you are visiting our channel for the very first time, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on exciting movie talks like this. In today's video, we're going deep into the world of The Bad Guys, a film that takes the classic idea of villains versus heroes and flips it upside down with charm, wit, and a style that will keep you glued to the screen from start to finish. We'll talk about what this movie really is, the creative inspiration behind it, and the fresh take it brings to the animated genre. We'll also cover exactly where you can watch it, whether it's available on an OTT platform for streaming, on-demand digital rentals, or on satellite TV, so you know the best and easiest way to enjoy it. We'll take a peek into the technical department and see how the animation team crafted its unique look, blending 2D and 3D styles for something bold and different. We'll talk about the music department, because the film's soundtrack is full of jazzy, upbeat tunes that set the mood perfectly for all the heists, chases, and laugh-out-loud moments. You'll get to hear about the pre-production phase, how the story was adapted from a popular children's book series, the long process of designing each quirky character, and how the voice actors brought them to life in the recording studio. Then we'll move to the post-production stage, where editing, sound design, and visual polish turned it into the slick and stylish film we see today. We'll also dig into the numbers, the budget that went into making this high-quality animated caper and the box office results that proved just how much audiences loved it. From its opening weekend buzz to its long theatrical run, we'll break down exactly how it performed in different parts of the world. Of course, we'll talk about the story itself, a gang of infamous animal criminals trying to pull off one final job while attempting to turn over a new leaf, all while getting into the kind of trouble that only the bad guys can find themselves in. I'll give you my own review of how the pacing, humor, and action blend together, and why it works for both kids and adults. On top of that, we'll go over some fascinating facts, like which scenes took the longest to animate, how certain improvisations from the voice actors made it into the final cut, and how the film's unique style was influenced by classic crime capers. We'll look at the star cast, the actors' performances, and which talented voice artist played which role, from the smooth-talking Mr. Wolf to the hilarious Mr. Snake, the sharp-tongued Ms. Tarantula, the tough but lovable Mr. Shark, and the hot-headed Mr. Piranha. Each character has their own personality that adds something special to the mix, and we'll explore how they work together to make the story so engaging. That's why I highly recommend you watch this video till the very end, because there's a lot more to The Bad Guys than just a group of talking animals. It's about style, heart, and a whole lot of fun. So, let's start the video. The Bad Guys throws you into its world the way a slick caper should. One breathless opening heist introduces Mr. Wolf and his crew as notorious, practiced criminals, and their arrest and the bargain they strike to go good is the engine that drives everything that follows. On paper, the movie mostly follows a linear, three-act heist structure, setup, escalating cons and reversals, then a showdown, but it uses those familiar beats to stage a personality study. The thrills are there for fun, but the story's real momentum comes from watching a group of performers learn whether they want to keep performing the role the world expects of them or try on something new, which turns the caper format into a character laboratory. The first crack in the gang's practiced identity is deliciously small and human. Mr. Wolf does what he's scheduled to do for the con and then, unexpectedly, rescues a cat. Marmalade captures that rescue and the viral clip rebrands the bad guys overnight, forcing everyone to ask if their goodness is an act or a choice. From there, the film delights in heist movie mechanics, the staged PR appearances, the glitzy gala where plans collide, the close call getaways, while repeatedly shifting the emotional camera inward so every clever trick has personal stakes attached to it. The central external threat, the sugary smug Professor Marmalade, escalates the plot into pure jeopardy when he acquires a strange meteorite and rigs a mind control scheme that both finances his public persona and frames the bad guys for the worst crime in the city, which flips the story from PR comedy into a race to clear names and stop real harm. The movie's twists are cunning but tidy. Snake's apparent desertion looks like the confirmation of his cynicism, only to be reframed later when it's revealed he'd faked his defection and even swapped the meteorite with a replica lamp. An emotional and plot realignment that makes earlier scenes read differently on a second pass and underlines the film's insistence that motives matter as much as actions. Emotionally, the axis is simple. Wolf yearning to be more than the big bad he's been typecast as, Snake insisting the world won't forgive them, but the film earns its payoffs through small gestures. A reluctant sharing of a push-pop that becomes a moment of mutual care, Diane Foxington's reveal as the former thief Crimson Paw that collapses the neat hero-slash-villain binary, and a final choice to own up rather than hide. Stylistically, the film borrows heist rhythms and even comic book visual flourishes so the pacing stays kinetic, but it never loses sight of the intimate micro-moments that convert a good joke into a meaningful beat. The result is a movie that looks and moves like a caper, thinks like a character study, and lands its theme of redemption by making viewers watch a crew learn to trust the very things, kindness, small sacrifices, messy apologies, that real heroes are made of. The Bad Guys treats its characters like people who happen to fall into animal costumes, vivid, a little messy, and full of contradictions, not like cartoon stock types. The film gives each team member a clear personality shorthand: the smooth leader, the sarcastic sidekick, the hacker, the big soft muscle, the hothead, but then spends most of its time chipping away at those labels until they feel earned and specific. Mr. Wolf is the movie's heart and the clearest example of real growth. He's charming, showy, and comfortable running cons, which makes his small, impulsive acts of kindness, the public cat rescue that goes viral, the awkward attempts at sincere behavior around Diane, land like seismic beats. Those tiny choices pull the story forward more than any grand speech. His flirtation with actual goodness, and with Diane, forces him into situations where leadership means deciding what kind of person he wants to be, not just what kind of thief. Mr. Snake is the perfect foil. Cynical, sharp-tongued, and convinced that the world will always call them monsters. That skepticism is not just mood music, it's the story's counterweight. Snake's suspicion of going legit and his fear of being burned drive conflict inside the gang and make Wolf's attempts at reform feel risky and meaningful. The film teases betrayal and disappointment through Snake's stubbornness, then folds those beats back into the plot so his choices, whether angry withdrawal or a secret protective move, reframe earlier scenes and reveal layers beneath the sarcasm. The supporting trio, Ms. Tarantula, Mr. Shark, and Mr. Piranha, are shorthand at first but never stay that way. Tarantula's snark masks a huge brain and fierce loyalty, Shark's bluster hides deep insecurity and a craving to belong, Piranha's hot temper is tempered by moments of surprising tenderness. Those flips keep the ensemble dynamic energetic. Jokes double as character beats, and miniature fights, over a push-pop, say, become tiny emotional tests that show how bonded they are and how much trust they still need to build. Diane Foxington's arc is a delicious reversal, a public good politician who used to be the Crimson Paw, and that history does more than surprise the audience. It gives Wolf a model of reinvention and repeats the film's central question: is bad a nature or a set of choices? Diane's empathy and her past make her more than a romantic interest. She functions as mirror and mentor, and the reveal that she once lived on the other side of the law collapses neat binaries and forces both Wolf and the audience to rethink labels. What really sells the development is how growth is shown in small, human, or animal moments instead of long speeches. A shared snack, a quiet trust test, a switched prop that proves someone had faith in the group. Those microbeats accumulate until the gang's decisions feel inevitable rather than manufactured. The movie leans on heist movie mechanics for excitement but uses those moments to change what the characters want and why they want it, turning jokes and set pieces into scenes of emotional progress. So the cast reads as a club of distinct, evolving people. Each has a clear starting point and a believable pull towards something better, or towards cynicism, and the way their fears, loyalties, and small kindnesses collide and resolve is what gives the film its warmth. The Bad Guys is more interested in the messy work of becoming than in tidy labels, and that makes the character work surprisingly satisfying and genuinely funny. Ah, The Bad Guys. Let's talk about the vocal wizardry that turned these animated critters into living, breathing, hilariously conflicted individuals. Forget your typical movie review talk for a second, because what we're really doing here is pulling back the curtain on the magic trick that makes you forget you're watching a bunch of drawings. First off, let's just get it out there. The actors in The Bad Guys aren't just reading lines. They're inhabiting these characters with an infectious energy that practically jumps off the screen. You know how sometimes you watch an animated movie and you can almost hear the actor in the recording booth? Not here. Each voice is so perfectly tailored to the character's design and personality that it feels like they were born to play these roles. Take Sam Rockwell as Mr. Wolf, for example. From the very first moment he opens his mouth, you get it. He's got that suave, confident swagger, but there's also a hint of weariness, a touch of a guy who's tired of being the bad guy, even if he's good at it. Rockwell injects so much charm and subtle vulnerability into Wolf that you can't help but root for him, even when he's doing something distinctly unheroic. It's a masterclass in vocal acting, making a cartoon wolf feel more relatable than some live-action protagonists. He's not just a leader, he's a charismatic schemer who's also, deep down, a bit of a softie, and Rockwell nails that contradiction with every inflection. Then there's Marc Maron as Mr. Snake. Oh, Mr. Snake. Maron's dry, cynical delivery is pure comedic gold. Every one of Snake's grumbles and sardonic asides lands perfectly. You can practically see the eye roll behind his voice. He's the perpetually unimpressed, perpetually hungry, perpetually skeptical friend, and Maron brings that grumpy charm to life with such precision that you can't imagine anyone else in the role. He's not just the sidekick, he's the sarcastic anchor that keeps the whole crew grounded, or at least, comically complaining. Awkwafina as Ms. Tarantula, or Webbs, is another absolute standout. Her rapid-fire delivery and tech-savvy lingo are delivered with such gusto that you immediately buy into her genius. There's an underlying mischievousness in her voice that makes her every hack and clever quip even funnier. She's not just the brains of the operation, she's got a playful, almost gleeful, approach to mischief, and Awkwafina perfectly captures that unique blend of intelligence and impishness. And who could forget Craig Robinson as Mr. Shark? His booming, often hilariously oblivious voice provides so much of the film's physical comedy and heart. He's the gentle giant, who can also be quite scary when he needs to be, and Robinson imbues him with a surprising amount of sweetness and a wonderfully simple, straightforward charm. When Shark is trying to be sneaky, or when he's genuinely confused, Robinson's vocal performance sells it perfectly, making him endlessly endearing. Even the supporting cast adds so much to the emotional tapestry. Zazie Beetz as Diane Foxington brings a sophisticated elegance and intelligence to her character, perfectly balancing the mischievous energy of the bad guys with a sense of moral uprightness and genuine care. Her voice is smooth and confident, conveying a character who is both capable and compassionate. Richard Ayoade as Professor Marmalade is delightfully smarmy, with just the right amount of condescending sweetness that makes him such a fantastic villain. You love to hate him, and Ayoade's perfectly modulated tones are a big reason why. The way these actors play off each other is what truly elevates the film. You feel the camaraderie, the exasperation, the genuine affection, even if they'd never admit it, between them. When they bicker, it feels like a real group of friends, or at least, a highly functional dysfunctional family. The vocal performances aren't just individual triumphs, they create a cohesive and believable ensemble where every character, no matter how small, feels fully realized. They don't just enhance the emotional depth, they are the emotional depth. They make you care about these animated scoundrels and their journey from notoriety to, well, something slightly less notorious. It's a testament to how well they've brought these characters to life that you leave the theater feeling like you just spent time with a bunch of real, albeit furry and scaly personalities. It's truly a fun and entertaining vocal ride. You ever watch a movie and it just feels alive? Like it's buzzing with a kind of energy that makes you sit up a little straighter in your seat? That's what Pierre Perifel does with The Bad Guys. He's not just directing a story, he's orchestrating a whole vibe. From the very first frame, you're swept into a world that feels incredibly cool, kinetic, and stylish. It's a movie that doesn't just tell you about its characters' charisma, it shows you with every slick camera move and perfectly timed punchline. Let's talk about the style. This isn't your average, smooth-as-glass CG animation. Perifel and his team embraced a look that feels like a blend of old-school cartoons, comic books, and heist films. The characters have this almost hand-drawn quality, with expressive, exaggerated features that make their emotions pop. The action sequences are a masterclass in dynamic visuals, with a frantic energy that feels less like a dance and more like a high-octane chase scene. The use of split screens, freeze frames, and quick-cut editing during the heists isn't just for show, it's a direct nod to classic crime capers and a way to amp up the excitement. It's all about creating a sense of swagger, a visual language that screams, cool. The pacing is a huge part of this. The bad guys moves like a runaway train, and that's a good thing. The story zips along, hitting every beat with precision. We're introduced to the crew, we get the heist, we get the twist, and we get the big finale without any wasted moments. This snappy tempo is essential for a film that thrives on wit and quick-fire banter. It keeps the audience engaged and on their toes, never letting the energy dip. It's a rhythm that feels perfectly suited to the characters themselves. Fast-talking, quick-thinking criminals who are always one step ahead. And the shot composition. Rockwell uses cinematic language in a way that's usually reserved for live-action films. Wide shots establish the scale of the heists, while close-ups on the characters' faces give us a front-row seat to their emotions, both genuine and feigned. There are moments where the camera holds on a character, just letting them own the screen with their confident stare. It's all about making these animated animals feel like movie stars. The way the camera glides through the action, following a character as they leap across a rooftop or slide under a closing gate, makes you feel like you're right there in the middle of the caper. This isn't just about making the movie look good. It's about using all these stylistic choices to enhance the emotional core of the story. The film's vibrant colors and energetic movement reflect the bad guys' larger-than-life personalities and their journey from being a monochromatic crew of criminals to a group that embraces their true, colorful selves. The slick, cool tone of the film mirrors the gang's initial belief that being bad is the only way to be. But as the story unfolds and their true feelings start to show, the visual style adapts, becoming a backdrop for moments of genuine heart and emotional growth. It's a directorial vision that proves animation can be just as sophisticated and stylistically rich as any live-action film. It's a joyride from start to finish, and you can thank the director for every single thrilling turn. Ah, the bad guys. Let's talk about how the movie doesn't just show you a story, but uses every little visual trick in the book to make you feel it. Forget about a camera since it's animated, and think of it as a virtual eye that's been given a huge dose of style and attitude. The cinematography of this film is what gives it its unique flavor, making it feel less like a cartoon and more like a living, breathing graphic novel. First up, the lighting. The movie uses light and shadow in a way that's so deliberate and effective. When the bad guys are in their element, pulling off a heist, everything is a bit dark, moody, and full of sharp contrasts. It's all about spotlights, deep shadows, and neon glows from city signs. This isn't just to make it look cool, it creates a sense of danger and intrigue, perfectly matching the film's heist movie tone. It makes the world feel like it's operating on a nocturnal, criminal schedule. But as the bad guys start to change, the lighting changes with them. We get scenes bathed in warm, golden light during the day, or soft, glowing pastels when a moment of genuine friendship or kindness happens. This visual shift isn't subtle. It's a huge part of the storytelling, signaling to the audience that the characters' inner worlds are becoming brighter and more hopeful. Then there are the camera angles and framing. This is where the film's personality really shines. The camera isn't just a passive observer, it's an active participant. We get low-angle shots that make Mr. Wolf and his crew look massive and imposing, giving them that star power presence of classic movie villains. High-angle shots, on the other hand, can make them look small and vulnerable, especially when they're confronted with their past or an unexpected challenge. The framing is often dynamic and energetic, particularly during the action sequences. It's all about creating a sense of motion and excitement. Think of the way the camera zips and glides through a crowded city street, following the characters as they weave through traffic. It's a beautifully choreographed visual dance that's designed to get your heart racing. One of the most visually striking moments, and there are many, has to be the car chase scene at the beginning. The way the visuals play out is stunning. The use of blurred backgrounds to emphasize speed, the way the camera tracks the car with a kinetic, almost dizzying energy, and the way the lights streak past, it all comes together to create a pure adrenaline rush. It's a key scene that not only sets the tone for the entire film but also establishes the crew's effortless, professional cool. Another great example is the way the film uses close-ups. We get extreme close-ups on a character's face when they're trying to hide a lie, or when they're genuinely surprised by an act of kindness. These moments are incredibly effective at conveying emotion without a single word being spoken. The animators use these close-ups to show subtle shifts in expression, a slight change in the eyes, or a hesitant smile. This is where the beauty of the cinematography truly comes through, creating intimate, impactful moments that make you feel for these characters. It's a film that isn't afraid to use a wide shot to show you the scale of a grand heist and then immediately cut to a tight, emotional shot that reveals the heart underneath the tough exterior. The cinematography in The Bad Guys is more than just visuals. It's a language all its own, speaking volumes about the characters and their journey. Let's talk about the flow of The Bad Guys, because this movie isn't just a story, it's a finely tuned machine of rhythm and momentum. It's the kind of film that grabs you from the very first scene and doesn't let go, and that's all thanks to some seriously clever editing and a fantastic sense of pacing. This isn't a slow burn, it's a controlled explosion of fun and action that knows exactly when to speed up, when to slow down, and when to hit you with a perfect comedic beat. The film's rhythm is its heartbeat, and it's a fast one. The opening scene, a diner conversation that quickly turns into a high-speed car chase, is a perfect example. The editing here is snappy, cutting between the characters' witty banter inside the car and the chaotic action outside. This quick-fire back and forth establishes the tone immediately. This is a movie that's all about speed and wit. The transitions are seamless, often using sound design or a quick visual cue to link one scene to the next without a single wasted second. It feels like a well-oiled heist plan in and of itself. What's so impressive is how the film maintains this pace without it ever feeling exhausting. The movie understands that a non-stop barrage of action can get old. So, it expertly weaves in moments of calm. These quieter scenes are just as important as the big action set pieces. They are where we get to see the characters interact, reveal their vulnerabilities, and build their relationships. The editing in these moments is a bit more relaxed, allowing the conversations to breathe and the humor to land. For instance, the scene where the crew tries to go good is paced with a mix of slapstick comedy and genuine character reflection. The film gives these moments the space they need to be impactful, which makes the subsequent return to action feel even more exciting. The pacing also plays a crucial role in the narrative and emotional impact. The journey of the bad guys from notorious criminals to, well, something else, feels earned because the film takes the time to show us their slow, often hilarious transformation. The film's rhythm isn't just about moving the plot forward, it's about charting the emotional arc of its characters. The editing helps to highlight their internal conflicts. A quick cut to a character's face after a moment of genuine kindness shows their surprise and confusion. The rapid editing during a heist sequence conveys the crew's confidence and expertise, while a slower, more deliberate shot later on might show their hesitation and doubt. In the final act, all these elements come together beautifully. The pace becomes more intense and frantic as the stakes get higher. The editing during the big climax is a brilliant whirlwind of action, humor, and emotional payoffs. It's a testament to the film's fantastic flow that the grand, chaotic finale never feels confusing. You're completely invested because the film has carefully built its momentum, its characters, and its emotional weight throughout its runtime. The editing and pacing in The Bad Guys aren't just technical necessities. They are the driving force that makes the film such an engaging and entertaining experience from start to finish. Let's talk about the soundtrack of The Bad Guys, because it's not just background noise, it's the movie's secret weapon. From the very first note, the music grabs you by the hand and pulls you into this world of cool, charismatic criminals. The score, composed by Daniel Pemberton, is a character in its own right, a slick and jazzy companion to every high-speed chase and every moment of witty banter. It's the kind of music that makes you feel like you're wearing a sharp suit and pulling off the perfect heist, even if you're just sitting on your couch. The score is a masterclass in creating atmosphere. It's heavily influenced by classic funk, jazz, and old-school spy movie themes, and it gives the film its undeniable swagger. The recurring motifs are particularly brilliant. We get a signature theme for The Bad Guys that's full of groovy bass lines, cool brass stabs, and a sense of effortless confidence. This theme isn't just played during the action scenes, It pops up in moments of calm, too, reminding us of who these characters are and what they're all about. It's a sonic signature that makes the crew feel iconic from the get-go. And then there's the use of popular music. The soundtrack is expertly curated to complement the story. There are moments where a perfectly chosen funk track from the 70s or a modern pop song with a similar vibe kicks in, and it's not just for flavor, it's for impact. It enhances the visual style and the energy of the scene, making the whole experience even more engaging. The music works in tandem with the visuals, with a perfectly timed cymbal crash or a bass drop lining up with a punchline or a car jumping off a ramp. It's all about synergy. But the music isn't just about making things cool and exciting. It also plays a huge role in the film's emotional beats. There are moments where the score becomes softer, more melodic, and more introspective. When a character is grappling with their past or questioning their identity, the music pulls back, using a more delicate arrangement to let that emotional moment land. It never becomes overpowering. It blends seamlessly with the story, guiding the audience's feelings without ever telling them what to feel. The shift in the music from something fast and funky to something more heartfelt is a key part of the movie's narrative, mirroring the character's own journey from hardened criminals to something more. The score truly shines in the bigger, more dramatic moments. The climax, for example, features music that is a grand, orchestral, and incredibly exciting fusion of all the film's sonic motifs. It's got the energy of the heist music, the emotional weight of the softer moments, and a sense of triumph that makes the final showdown feel incredibly epic. The way the score builds and swells with the action is a testament to how well it's been integrated into the film's fabric. It's the kind of score that you'll want to listen to on its own, a rare treat that not only enhances the film but also stands alone as a great piece of music. It's the perfect sonic backdrop for a movie that's all about style, sass, and a little bit of soul. Ah, The Bad Guys. While it's a feast for the eyes and a thrill ride of a heist movie, it's also got some real brain food simmering just beneath the surface. This isn't just a story about a bunch of criminals trying to go good. It's a surprisingly thoughtful exploration of a few big ideas that stick with you long after the credits roll. First and foremost, the film tackles the idea of judging a book by its cover. The bad guys are, well, bad guys, right? That's what everyone in the world thinks. The film's central conflict revolves around the societal assumption that because they look like predators, a wolf, a snake, a shark, they must be dangerous. The entire city is built to fear them, to see them as a menace, and this external judgment has become their entire identity. It's a fantastic funhouse mirror look at prejudice and stereotypes. The film's message is that we can't let appearances dictate who a person is, and that a person's nature isn't always what we've been taught to believe. It's a powerful idea, and the film communicates it beautifully by showing how these supposedly bad characters have a lot more good in them than anyone gives them credit for. Then there's the theme of identity and redemption. The bad guys have always been who they are because that's what was expected of them. They embraced their villainous roles because society gave them no other choice. Mr. Wolf's entire journey is about him realizing that he can be more than just a big bad wolf. He discovers that being good isn't about being perfect, it's about trying to be a better person, even when it's hard. This message feels incredibly genuine and never forced. The film doesn't just flip a switch and make them good guys. Their transformation is a messy, hilarious, and often reluctant process, which makes their ultimate change feel earned and believable. They don't become heroes overnight, they just start trying to do the right thing, and that's a much more meaningful and lasting message. The film also touches on the idea of true friendship and loyalty. For all their criminal antics, the bad guys are a family. They bicker, they argue, but they have each other's backs no matter what. The emotional core of the film is their bond. The central conflict isn't just about whether they can be good, it's about whether their friendship can survive the shift in their identities. The film shows that true friendship isn't about being perfect, it's about accepting each other for who they are, flaws and all. The thought-provoking idea here is that sometimes the truest love and acceptance can be found in the most unexpected places. Finally, there's the message about second chances. The Bad Guys is a giant neon sign screaming that everyone deserves a second chance, a chance to prove they're more than their past mistakes. This isn't just a throwaway line, it's the engine that drives the entire plot. The movie's world is initially unwilling to give them that chance, but through their actions, the bad guys force a change in perception. It's an optimistic and feel-good theme that leaves you with a lasting impression of hope. The film effectively communicates all of these themes in a way that's lighthearted and fun, proving that you can have a high-energy animated caper that also has something meaningful and intelligent to say. It's a surprisingly deep movie wrapped in a very, very cool package. Let's talk about the look of The Bad Guys, because this isn't just another computer-animated movie, it's a whole new aesthetic playground. The visual effects and CGI in this film aren't about creating a world that looks like a photograph. They're about creating a world that looks like a living, breathing graphic novel. The genius of the film's visuals is that they don't try to blend with anything external. They create a complete, cohesive, and incredibly stylish world all on their own. The film's design is a bold rejection of hyper-realism in favor of something much more expressive and fun. Everything from the character designs to the backgrounds has a distinct, almost hand-drawn quality, with sharp lines, bold colors, and a tactile feel that makes the world feel incredibly inviting. Instead of distracting, the visuals are the main attraction. The animators use the digital medium to its full potential by pulling off tricks that would be impossible in live action. Take the characters themselves. Mr. Wolf's movements are fluid and suave, but his expressions are pure, exaggerated cartoon genius. Mr. Shark's goofy disguises work because the animation allows for a level of absurdity that is both hilarious and visually compelling. The CGI is used to enhance immersion not by making you forget you're watching animation, but by making you fall completely in love with this particular, unique style of animation. The way a character's eyes can become huge and expressive, or the way a panicked expression can stretch across a face, is all a result of this artistic choice. It's a celebration of what animation can do best: bend reality for comedic and emotional impact. Now, to address the idea of practical versus digital effects, The Bad Guys is 100% digital, but it's a brilliant example of how digital can pay homage to traditional techniques. The animation style often feels like a high-tech version of classic hand-drawn cartoons or even a modern take on stop motion. The textures of the characters and the world are not plastic smooth but have a graininess to them, almost like watercolor or a comic book page. The way a character's face is lit isn't always photorealistic. Sometimes it's flat and graphical, and other times it's lit for dramatic effect, like a high-contrast shadow from a film noir. These are all conscious artistic choices that give the film a warmth and a unique personality that sets it apart. It's the perfect blend of modern technology with an old-school artistic heart. There are so many visually striking moments that stand out. The car chase at the beginning, with its frenetic energy and use of split screens, feels like a comic book panel come to life. The moment when the diamond heist is in slow motion, with a diamond tumbling through the air, sparkling in the light, is a moment of pure visual splendor that creates both beauty and tension. But perhaps the best visual effect is the simplest: the sheer expressiveness of the characters' faces. The subtle shifts in Mr. Wolf's expressions as he grapples with his identity, or the way a character's eyes can convey their entire emotional state, is a testament to the power of this highly stylized CGI. The visuals of The Bad Guys aren't just a tool, they're the soul of the film, creating a world that is vibrant, fun, and utterly unforgettable. Ah, the world of The Bad Guys. You know, sometimes in movies, the setting is just a backdrop, a place for the characters to stand. But in this film, the entire world is a character in and of itself, a vibrant and meticulously designed place that feels just as alive as Mr. Wolf and his crew. The set design and locations in this movie aren't just there, they're actively telling a story and creating a believable, fun-filled universe. The main city, an unnamed metropolis that feels like a mashup of Los Angeles and a classic cartoon cityscape, is a fantastic character on its own. It's a world where the bad guys are famous, and the architecture reflects that. There's a sleek, modern, almost mid-century vibe to the buildings, but it's all given a playful, stylized twist. The city is full of neon signs, glowing skyscrapers, and winding streets that are perfect for a high-speed chase. It's a place that feels simultaneously glamorous and gritty, a perfect stage for a heist movie. The production design is so well thought out that you can almost feel the city's energy. And the interiors. Each location feels lived in and specific to the characters who inhabit it. The bad guy's lair, for example, is a perfect reflection of their personality. It's a chaotic, cool, and surprisingly cozy space full of high-tech gear, maps, and a giant refrigerator. It's a place that shows us their teamwork, their professional criminal lives, and their surprising domesticity. The lair isn't just a hideout, it's their home, a place where they are their truest, most comfortable selves. Then there's the contrast. The clean, sparkling, and slightly sterile world of the Golden Dolphin Award ceremony feels completely different. It's all glass, chrome, and pristine white, a visually striking contrast to the bad guy's lair. This difference in design isn't accidental, it's a key part of the storytelling. It emphasizes the two different worlds the characters are navigating, their bad life and the good life they are trying to break into. The world of Professor Marmalade, with its opulent and eccentric design, is another great example. His home is filled with gaudy gold and self-aggrandizing details, perfectly capturing his arrogant and villainous personality. The locations aren't just visually compelling, they are carefully constructed environments that provide insight into the characters. The attention to detail is what makes this world so believable and immersive. The way the props are designed, from the bad guy's high-tech gadgets to the little details on the various vehicles, all feel like they belong. The world feels lived in, with little touches here and there that make it feel like a fully functioning place with its own history and rules. The production design isn't just a pretty picture, it's a vital part of the film's narrative, giving depth and context to the story. It's a world that is visually exciting and endlessly entertaining, a perfect backdrop for a group of lovable rogues to get into all kinds of trouble. Let's talk about the script of The Bad Guys, because this movie isn't just a feast for the eyes, it's a banquet for your ears. The dialogue in this film is what truly brings these characters to life, making them feel less like animated animals and more like a bunch of witty, fast-talking rogues you'd actually want to hang out with. It's sharp, it's natural, and it's packed with so many memorable lines that you'll be quoting them long after the movie is over. The banter between the bad guys is pure comedic gold. It's what gives the film its heart and its rhythm. Their conversations feel so natural and effortless, like a group of friends who have been arguing and scheming for years. Mr. Wolf's suave, confident leadership is constantly being undercut by Mr. Snake's dry, cynical retorts. The way they finish each other's sentences during the opening heist scene is a masterclass in establishing character and their tight-knit dynamic. The script doesn't waste a single moment. Every line serves a purpose, whether it's for a joke, character development, or to push the plot forward. But the script isn't just about jokes, it also has a surprising amount of emotional weight. The dialogue beautifully handles the characters' internal conflicts and their journey toward redemption. The moments where Mr. Wolf questions his identity, or where the other bad guys express their doubts about going good, feel incredibly genuine. The writing allows these characters to be vulnerable without ever losing their cool. The script expertly balances the light-hearted comedy with these deeper, more thoughtful moments, making the emotional turns feel earned and impactful. When Mr. Wolf says a line like, "We've been bad for so long, we don't know any other way," it lands with a real punch because the script has spent so much time showing us that's their reality. There are so many standout lines that define the film's personality. The constant hilarious argument between Mr. Wolf and Mr. Snake over food is a recurring highlight, but it's the simple lines that often have the most impact. Mr. Wolf's simple, "Because that's what we do," in response to a plan, or his later, more heartfelt, "Maybe we were good all along," are lines that get to the core of the film's themes. The script is full of clever pop culture references and witty one-liners, but it's the dialogue that reveals the characters' inner struggles that truly makes the writing impactful. The script of The Bad Guys is a fantastic example of smart, engaging, and heartfelt writing. It gives each character a distinct voice, allowing the ensemble to shine. The dialogue is so much fun to listen to that you could probably watch the movie with your eyes closed and still have a good time. It's a script that proves that an animated family film can be both incredibly funny and genuinely touching, and that's a rare and wonderful thing. You know how some movies feel like they were made in a lab, following a checklist of genre conventions? The Bad Guys isn't one of those. This film takes the familiar heist genre, shoves it into a blender with a buddy comedy and an animated adventure, and comes out with something that feels wonderfully fresh and full of swagger. It's a film that knows exactly what it's doing, playing with genre expectations and subverting them at every turn, all while delivering a ridiculously entertaining time. The film's genius lies in its clever subversion of the heist genre's core tropes. It starts by following the rules to a T. We get the classic ensemble of expert criminals with their distinct skills: the charming leader, the sarcastic safecracker, the tech wizard, the master of disguise, and the muscle. We get the detailed plan, the high-tech gadgets, and the seemingly impossible target. The opening heist is a perfect example of this, executed with a stylish, cinematic flair that feels straight out of Ocean's 11. But right when you think you know what's coming, the film throws a delicious curveball. What if the heist wasn't the goal, but the beginning of a journey towards something completely different? It's a subversion of the genre's DNA that sets the stage for a story about redemption rather than riches. The way the film balances its various elements is a masterclass in genre execution. It's an action film, a suspenseful caper, a buddy comedy, and a heartfelt drama all rolled into one. The action sequences are fast-paced and kinetic, with a cartoonish energy that makes them feel both thrilling and fun. The suspense of the heists is palpable, even when you know they're not the point of the story. The humor is sharp and constant, coming from both witty dialogue and expertly timed physical comedy. And the drama, the emotional core of the film about a group of friends learning to be better people, is woven in so seamlessly that it never feels forced or out of place. The film moves from a high-speed chase to a quiet, emotional conversation without missing a beat, a testament to its masterful storytelling. The Bad Guys introduces fresh ideas by reframing the genre's purpose. Instead of a story about a crew trying to succeed at being bad, it's a story about a crew trying to succeed at being good. The film's most unique idea is its exploration of what happens when the heroes of the story are actually the villains, and their biggest challenge isn't the police, but their own reputations and self-perceptions. It's a hilarious and surprisingly poignant take on a well-worn formula. It plays with the clichés: the good guy who turns out to be a villain, the bad guys who have a heart of gold, but it does so with a wink and a knowing sense of its own cleverness, making them feel fresh rather than tired. The film's ability to take these familiar elements and twist them into something that feels new and exciting is what makes it such a successful and engaging piece of genre filmmaking. It's a fun, entertaining ride that will leave you wanting more of its unique brand of criminal charm. Ah, The Bad Guys. While it's a whirlwind of fun and fast-paced adventure, this film is also secretly a Trojan horse for some surprisingly thoughtful social and cultural commentary. It doesn't scream its messages at you. Instead, it whispers them with a wink and a chuckle, weaving them so naturally into the fabric of the story that you might not even realize you're getting a crash course in big ideas. The film tackles some complex topics in a light-hearted way, making them accessible and easy to digest for a wide audience. The most prominent theme is a sharp critique of prejudice and the power of stereotypes. The bad guys are criminals not just because they choose to be, but because society has told them they have to be. A wolf, a snake, a shark, they are a visual representation of preconceived notions. The city's inhabitants are terrified of them, not because of what they've done in that exact moment, but because of what they are and what they've always been told those animals do. The film directly confronts this issue by showing how the characters' reputations are so deeply ingrained that even when they try to do good, people refuse to believe them. It's a clever and effective way to talk about the dangers of judging people based on their appearance or background, and how breaking out of those labels can be a Herculean task. The film also makes a subtle but powerful statement about the nature of good and bad. It challenges the simplistic black-and-white view that people are either one or the other. Professor Marmalade, the film's supposed good guy, and the recipient of the Golden Dolphin Award, is celebrated by society but is secretly a manipulative, self-serving villain. Meanwhile, the bad guys, who are shunned and feared, turn out to have a deep capacity for kindness, loyalty, and redemption. This duality is a fantastic way to explore the idea that a person's public image doesn't always reflect their true character. It's a very smart and relevant point about the difference between being perceived as good and actually being good, which is a distinction that feels particularly timely. Finally, there's a gentle commentary on the power of second chances and the difficulty of change. The bad guy's journey isn't a simple flip of a switch. It's a messy, awkward, and often hilarious process of trying to unlearn a lifetime of bad habits. The film effectively handles this by showing the characters' genuine struggle. They falter, they mess up, and they have to confront their own ingrained identities. The message isn't about instant perfection, but about the value of the effort to change. It's an optimistic and humanizing take on a complex topic. The Bad Guys uses its fun, animated world to tackle these weighty social and cultural topics in a way that feels natural, impactful, and endlessly entertaining. It's a movie that gives you a lot to think about, all while making you smile. Let's talk about how The Bad Guys gets under your skin in the best possible way. This film is a master of audience engagement, a thrill ride that doesn't just show you a story but makes you a part of it. It's the kind of movie that leaves you with a wide grin on your face and a warm feeling in your heart, and it does so by expertly triggering a whole range of emotions throughout its runtime. From the very beginning, the film elicits strong reactions, primarily laughter. The banter between the bad guys is so sharp and so perfectly delivered that you'll be laughing out loud from the first scene. The jokes land with an infectious energy, whether it's a quick-witted line from Mr. Snake or some ridiculous physical comedy from Mr. Shark. The film knows exactly when to lean into slapstick and when to deliver a more subtle punchline, and this comedic rhythm keeps the audience fully engaged and constantly entertained. The sheer joy of watching these characters interact is a huge part of the movie's charm. But the film's emotional resonance goes much deeper than just laughs. It also expertly builds a sense of excitement and suspense. The heist sequences are a perfect example of this. The fast-paced editing, the kinetic score, and the clever visuals all work together to put you on the edge of your seat. You're not just watching a heist, you're feeling the adrenaline rush of the bad guys as they navigate laser grids and outwit security guards. The film makes you care so much about the character's success that you feel a genuine thrill with every narrow escape and every successful move. And then there are the moments that hit you right in the feels. As the film progresses and you get to know the bad guys, their emotional journey becomes your emotional journey. When they are at their lowest point, questioning who they are and what they're capable of, you genuinely feel their struggle. The film has moments of genuine tenderness and vulnerability that create a deep connection with the audience. When Mr. Wolf finally embraces his good side, or when the team rallies around him, it's a moment that can be genuinely moving. It's a testament to the film's fantastic writing and character development that you can get choked up about a cartoon shark and a tarantula. This kind of emotional roller coaster makes The Bad Guys a film that invites a lot of discussion and deep reflection. The themes of prejudice, redemption, and the nature of good and bad are thought-provoking, and they're presented in a way that's perfect for a post-movie chat. The film's rich visuals and clever details also encourage repeat viewings, as you're likely to catch a new joke or a subtle piece of world-building that you missed the first time around. It's a film that stays with you, not just for the laughs and the thrills, but for its genuine heart, making it a truly engaging and memorable cinematic experience. You know how some movies feel like a comfortable old sweater, and others feel like a brand new, perfectly tailored jacket? The Bad Guys is that new jacket. It's a film that confidently walks into a room of animated heist movies and live-action crime capers and says, "Move over, I've got this." This movie is a brilliant example of taking a familiar formula and giving it a fresh, stylish, and wonderfully fun spin. It doesn't just stand against its peers, it struts alongside them with a swagger all its own. First, let's talk about its animated brethren. The most obvious comparison is Despicable Me, which also features a bad guy as its protagonist. But where Despicable Me is more of a supervillain comedy with an eventual heartwarming turn, The Bad Guys is a straight-up heist film. It has the intricate plots, the high-tech gadgets, and the ensemble crew dynamic that feels less like a cartoon and more like a family-friendly animated version of Ocean's 11 or even Reservoir Dogs. The film's DNA is a direct love letter to those classic crime capers, which gives it a completely different flavor from other animated films that just happen to feature a villain as the hero. It's a more cinematic, self-aware film that knows exactly what genre it's playing in and revels in it. Then there's the aesthetic. which immediately sets it apart from the majority of modern CGI films. While a lot of studios are chasing hyper-realistic textures and detailed fur, The Bad Guys embraces a stylized, almost graphic novel look. The character designs are sharp, the backgrounds are painterly, and the motion is fluid and bouncy. This is a huge contrast to the polished, photorealistic look of a Pixar film, or even some of DreamWorks' own earlier works. This unique visual style is not only a breath of fresh air, but also perfectly matches the film's cool and confident tone. It's not just a different look, it's a different way of telling a story with animation. The film also holds its own when compared to others that tackle similar themes. Zootopia is a great example, as it also uses animal characters to explore ideas of prejudice and stereotypes. However, where Zootopia presents a more overt political and societal metaphor, The Bad Guys handles its themes with a more personal and comedic touch. The film's message about not judging a book by its cover is central to the plot, but it's delivered with a light touch, through the character's own hilarious and heartfelt journey of redemption. It's a different kind of execution for a similar, very important idea. Finally, it's worth noting that this film is the featured directorial debut of Pierre Perifel. This makes the film's confident, stylish, and meticulously crafted execution all the more impressive. It doesn't feel like a first-time effort. It feels like the work of a seasoned pro who has a clear vision and an impeccable sense of style. The Bad Guys doesn't just offer something new. It's a fantastic example of what happens when a familiar formula is taken and completely revitalized with a unique voice and a whole lot of flair. It's a film that proves that you can be both a loving homage and a fresh, exciting original at the same time. The Bad Guys. This film isn't a historical piece, so there's no need to fact-check its portrayal of real-world events. Instead, its context comes from two very different places: a successful children's book series and a beloved cinematic genre. This unique combination is what makes the film so special, as it's both a faithful adaptation and a stylish subversion all at once. First, let's look at its place as a franchise starter. The movie is based on a popular book series by Aaron Blabay. The film takes the core concept of the books, a group of stereotypically bad animals trying to be good, and expands it into a fully realized cinematic universe. The movie essentially serves as a fantastic origin story for this crew of lovable rogues. It introduces them, establishes their dynamic, and sets them on their journey toward redemption. The film's success has already led to a sequel and several television specials, proving that it has a strong foundation and a world with a lot more stories to tell. It's a perfect entry point into this larger narrative, a fun and exciting starting line for what promises to be a very entertaining franchise. Now, let's talk about the film's historical context in the world of cinema. The Bad Guys is a love letter to the heist genre, and it pays homage to decades of crime films. You can see the influence of everything from the slick, ensemble-driven capers of the Ocean's 11 franchise to the quick-witted dialogue and sharp style of Quentin Tarantino's work. The film isn't just copying these things, it's playfully reinterpreting them for a family audience. It takes the classic tropes, the detailed plan, the perfectly timed escape, the double-cross, and the cool-as-ice leader, and gives them a fun, animated spin. It's a film that knows its cinematic history and winks at the audience who gets the references. This historical context is what gives the film a lot of its cleverness. For example, the opening scene in the diner, with its long take and rapid-fire dialogue, is a direct nod to classic crime films. The film's use of split screens and freeze frames during a heist feels like a loving homage to decades of cinematic cool. What's so great is that you don't need to be a film buff to enjoy it. The film works perfectly well as a standalone adventure. But for those who are in on the joke, these stylistic choices add a whole extra layer of fun and appreciation. It's a film that exists comfortably in its own animated world while simultaneously being a part of a larger conversation about the history of movies. It's a fantastic blend of old and new, and it's a huge part of what makes the film such an engaging and fresh experience. Let's talk numbers, but in a fun way, because the story of The Bad Guys at the box office is just as engaging as the movie itself. This film wasn't a mega blockbuster that broke all-time records, but it was a quiet, undeniable success that proved you don't need an astronomical budget to deliver a high-quality, memorable experience. It's a great example of smart filmmaking and good timing. The film was made with a reported production budget of around $70 to $80 million. For a major animated feature, especially from a studio like DreamWorks, that's a very reasonable number. Many of its contemporaries, particularly from other big animation studios, can easily cost $150 million or even over $200 million. So, right out of the gate, The Bad Guys was playing a different game, and it was a game it was built to win. The incredible thing is that the film's production quality and visual style are so strong that you would never guess its budget was on the lower end of the spectrum. The animation is unique and stylish, the action is thrilling, and the world is meticulously designed. This is a testament to the creative team's ability to use their resources effectively and prioritize a distinctive artistic vision over expensive, hyper-realistic rendering. The film's look is a choice, not a limitation. Now for the fun part. The box office. The Bad Guys was a financial success, but not in the way you might expect. It didn't have a massive opening weekend that dominated headlines. Instead, it was a sleeper hit. It opened to a solid, but not record-breaking, number in theaters. What happened next is where the magic comes in. Thanks to overwhelmingly positive word of mouth and a lack of direct competition in the family film space, the movie had incredibly strong staying power. It kept attracting audiences week after week, slowly but surely building its momentum. It went on to gross over $250 million worldwide, which is a fantastic return on its budget. A movie that earns more than 3 times its production cost is a certified hit in the industry, and this film did just that. The marketing campaign was effective in introducing the stylish concept, but it was the audience reception that truly sealed its success. People went to see it, loved it, and then told their friends and family to go see it. This organic, grassroots support is the kind of marketing that money can't buy, and it's what propelled the film to its impressive final tally. In a time when the box office was still finding its footing, The Bad Guys proved that a fresh idea, a strong creative vision, and a fun story can triumph over a giant budget. It's a great lesson in what truly makes a movie a success, not just the money it spends, but the enjoyment it delivers. Okay, let's talk about where you can get your hands on this cinematic gem, because a film this cool deserves to be seen in the best possible way. The good news is, The Bad Guys is incredibly easy to find, so you can start planning your viewing party right away. As of today, the film is no longer in theaters, so you can't get that big screen experience, but don't worry, there are plenty of other fantastic options to choose from. The film is available on several major streaming platforms. It's currently streaming on Peacock, which is where it's had a long run, making it a great option if you have that subscription. So you can fire up your Peacock app and watch it anytime you want, which is perfect for repeat viewings of your favorite heist scenes. If you don't have a Peacock subscription or prefer to just buy or rent it, you're in luck. The film is widely available for digital rental and purchase on all the major online video stores. You can find it on platforms like Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Google Play, and Vudu. This means you have the flexibility to watch it on almost any device you own, whether it's your smart TV, tablet, or phone. The best part about this is the option to buy it digitally, which means you can own it forever and watch it whenever you need a dose of slick, animated fun. So, what's the best way to watch it for the fullest impact? My advice is to find the biggest screen and the best sound system you have access to. The film's unique visual style, with its dynamic camera work and vibrant color palette, really pops on a large display. And the fantastic score, with its funky bass lines and exciting percussion, deserves to be heard in all its glory. So, if you have a big screen TV and a good soundbar, that's your best bet. Grab some snacks, gather your family or friends, and get ready for a fast-paced, stylish, and genuinely heartwarming animated adventure. The film's energy and cleverness are contagious, and it's a perfect movie to share with others, so a cozy night in with a great setup is the ideal way to experience this cinematic treat.